Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Dr. Justin Feldman here, Feldman Physical Therapy and Performance. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep your running shoes lasting longer. Some tips, tricks, things that you can do to let your shoes last as long as possible. We're going to talk about some things to avoid, and then make sure you stay tuned to the end because we're going to talk about things that you should definitely make sure that you do. Over time, as the general public and everybody has pushed for the shoe industry to make us lighter and faster shoes, we have seen a trend where the material that's used is less and less durable. That comes with the territory. You think a lighter material is just generally going to be less durable. And so if we want lighter shoes, they're going to be a little bit less durable. It's a trade-off. But these shoes are also, on the other side, getting a little bit more expensive over time. And so we want to get as many miles as we can out of our shoes. Used to be not uncommon to hear people getting 300-400 miles out of shoes. Now we're looking and we're hearing more like 250, 300 is sort of that oddball. 200 might be even more common. And if we look at some of these faster shoes with the carbon plates and some of the Alpha Fly, those sort of shoes, those we're lucky if we can even get 100 miles out of those shoes. So anything we can do to extend the lifespan of the shoe is great. Now, before we dive into too much of this, please jump down. If you find this information useful, helpful, like this video, share it with your friends, and make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our content. You can hit that little bell there. You'll get notified every time we shoot a video out there. We have lots of health, wellness tips, exercise tips, as well as some shoe gear reviews. So definitely, if you appreciate that kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We really, really appreciate it. Let's jump in here. Things that we want you to avoid with your running shoes. First thing to avoid is the all too common, you get home and you get in the house. First thing you do is put one toe on the other heel, don't even untie the shoes, and you kick the shoe right off that way. What you're gonna do as you do that is you're gonna damage that heel counter a little bit. And so that piece of the back of your shoe around your heel that's a little firmer usually than the rest of the shoe, we don't want to damage that. That's what holds your heel in place. It's what holds your foot in place and ensures a good fit of the shoe. So we don't want you damaging that by kicking it with the other shoe. Likewise, when you're going out for your run, okay, we don't want you jamming your foot in your shoe. So if you did untie your shoes but didn't untie them nice and loose after your last run, if you try and get that shoe on and you jam your foot in there and you kind of fold the heel down with your foot and then you have to wedge your finger in there and pull it up. All that stuff is bad for that heel counter and it'll negatively affect the lifespan of the shoe. Next thing is, I know this is going to be a hard one for some people, but don't throw your shoes in the washing machine, okay? That foam in the shoe, it is not designed to be submerged in water. And so please, you don't want to throw them in the washing machine. It's just not great for the shoes. Also, they're your running shoes. No one cares how dirty they are. If they really look bad, you can use kind of a wet, damp cloth and clean them off, but it's not great for the shoes to throw them in the washing machine. Next thing you think about, things to avoid, is the idea of wearing your shoes for things other than running. So we don't want you wearing these shoes for anything other than running. Even if you're going to go to the gym, you're going to run a little bit and then maybe do some weight training, do some plyos, swap those shoes, switch them out, all right? That is not what the shoes are designed for. It's not great for the shoe, the added weight or the load of what you might be doing, but also running shoes don't put you in the best position for weight training. So if you really want to make your shoes last as long as possible, they should only be used for running. Likewise, walking the dog or running out to throw the trash, keep a separate pair of shoes by the door, even an old pair of running shoes, but don't use your good shoes for that. Now, what should you do, right? What are the positive tips we could talk about here for increasing the longevity of your running shoes? Well, the first thing goes along with the first thing not to do, and that is when you get in the door, loosen up those laces on the shoes, get them all the way nice and loose so that you can easily slide your foot out and then leave them like that. One, they'll air out and everybody will appreciate the lack of odor, but also they will be really nice and easy to slip on, and that will allow you to tie them nice and snugly the next time you're ready to go for a run. If you do happen to get into a situation where the shoes get pretty wet, then make sure that you stuff them with newspaper and really stuff it in there really good, fill the whole shoe up, and this will help them dry out, and that's going to make a difference, one, odor-wise, but also it'll just improve the longevity of the shoe and decrease any negative effect of having them get waterlogged. Last thing I want to talk about is rotating your shoes. So we talk a lot about the idea that if you run 10 miles a week, 10, 15 miles a week, then you can get by with one pair of shoes. But for every 10 to 15 miles a week that you run, you want another pair of shoes. And so that kind of adds up after a little while. But what we want you to be able to do is we want you to be able to rotate your shoes so that you're not using the same pair of shoes every day. This lets the foam in the shoe rest a little bit. It's also good for your feet and your body not to get too acclimated to one exact pair of shoes, but that will make your shoes last longer by not overusing the foam when it's in a little bit of a compromised position, still kind of recovering from the run from the day before. That's our tips and tricks for making sure that you get these shoes lasting as long as possible. Please, if you have any tips, things you want to share with everybody, go ahead, throw them in the comments. We'll just keep sharing this information with the community. Definitely make sure you jump down there and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next video.